captivated fans with dazzling catches, clutch hits, and open field dashes.
Could be intercepted, and it is by Deion Sanders.
Sanders just went hard to right field, way back into the right field seats.
And he's done it all in brash, high-stepping style. But along the road to fame and fortune, Deion's dreams turned into nightmares.
The night we won the Super Bowl in San Francisco, I was the first one out of the locker room, the first one home, the first one to bed. And I said, it ain't what I thought it was. Yeah, I'm not even happy.
Despite 2 Super Bowl trophies and millions in the bank, Deion was on the brink of suicide.
You got women everywhere, you still ain't happy. You got clothes galore, you still ain't happy. You got everything you wanted, but you're still not happy.
In the spring of '97, on a dark Ohio road, Deion was driving on a suicide mission, wondering what people would say about him when he was gone.
I got on my knees and said, Lord, if you take me, please take me right now. I can't go no farther. Lord, just take me.
Deion chose to attend Florida State. By the end of his first year, he was making a name for himself in 3 sports: football, baseball, and sometimes track.
Our track coach asked him, will you run in one of our meets? Oh, yeah, I'll run in one of your meets. So he goes over and runs in a meet and whips world-class sprinters. Deion Sanders fields at the 11, 15 it is.
By his sophomore year, Deion had sealed his reputation as someone to watch. But the ambitious 19-year-old wanted much more. So Deion created a character he felt would distinguish him from the rest of the pack: Prime Time.
Somebody convinced him, hey, Deion, you can make a lot of money if you sell yourself, and that's exactly what he did.
Stealing a page from the School of Corporate Marketing, Deion created a character and gave it a nickname. He began wearing gold chains and giant rings. Deion drove around campus in his new Chrysler Convertible. In 1989, Deion's investment in college was paying huge dividends. He had become one of America's first professional 2-sport athletes.
I played 2 sports because I played 3 sports all my life. It was nothing different. I wasn't going to let America tell me, oh, you can only play 1 sport. I wasn't going to let people say, you could only do 1 thing.
He was making millions as the highest paid defensive player ever in the NFL, playing cornerback for the Atlanta Falcons. At the same time, Deion signed a deal making several $100,000 playing center field for the New York Yankees.
It was truly remarkable and admirable.
And primetime personality paid dividends.
I ain't getting that. He get his own ball. Don't you got a football game to go to?
Besides his contracts with the Braves and Falcons, he began raking in millions from endorsement deals with companies like Nike.
Ho, ho, ho. I remember at one point, I would think I was on 5 commercials at a time.
Beep, beep.
It was lovely. It really was.
Prime time.
Life was wonderful.
He carried him and the 49ers to the top. During his first Super Bowl, Primetime had an interception, and the Niners destroyed the Chargers. But Deion's Super Bowl victory was an empty one. Deion's father, Dad.
Super Bowl in San Francisco, I was the first one out of the locker room, the first one home, the first one to bed. And I said, it ain't what I thought it was. Yeah, I'm not even happy.
Coming up, Deion tries to end it all.
My attorney had prophesied that I would commit suicide.
And later, Primetime embarks on the path to salvation.
Now, it's going to get tough because you're changing teams. You've been traded from the devil's team to God's team.
But just months after the victory, Deion followed the money into Dallas, tying the knot with the Cowboys for football and the Cincinnati Reds for baseball. He also tied the knot with his longtime girlfriend, Carolyn, the mother of his 2 children, Deandra and Deion Jr. Deion surprised Carolyn with a wedding ring and a private ceremony during a vacation in Lake Tahoe. After nearly a decade together, the couple was still inseparable.
I went on all the road trips. The guys would get mad because I would be the only woman there. And they didn't like that, but he said, no, my baby's coming.
But Carolyn felt the couple's new move to Dallas was not good for their new marriage.
Everybody loves their Cowboys in Texas. When we got to Texas, the team was such a funny team because they didn't want the wives to do anything. They always had their girlfriends with them. Like when they went to the Super Bowl in Phoenix, the wives couldn't come until Thursday. And he said it wasn't what he wanted, but they took a vote in the locker room.
Dallas won the Super Bowl, but like the year before with San Francisco, for Deion Sanders, it was a hollow victory.
And he thought, well, maybe if I accomplish a little more, maybe if I do a little more, I can find this happiness. But it wasn't there with each accomplishment, and so it began to get a little hollow for him.
Deion made an effort to break into the music business. Deion touring as a rap singer, gaining a reputation as a womanizer.
You know, he did that rap album, going on tour, you know, doing little nightclubs. And I would ask him, well, Deion, why can't I go? But they had these dancers from the different strip clubs, and they were all on the bus together, you know, with Deion and doing, you know, I don't know what, but he didn't want me around.
My thing,
And after another.
money is only gonna make you more of whom you really are. If you're a drunk, broke, you're gonna be a drunk with money. If you're a drug addict with broke, you're gonna be a drug addict with money. And if you're a whoremonger broke, you're gonna be a whoremonger with money.
We had a beautiful relationship in the beginning. I mean, it was everything anybody would want, but we grew in different directions. And he wanted something else.
In 1997, Carolyn filed for divorce and gained custody of the children.
Deion, I believe, felt a mixture of guilt that he couldn't be the faithful husband that he wanted to be at that time.
Deion's failures as a husband and a father, combined with the recent death of his own father, Daddy Buck, sent him into a deep depression.
Seeing your children stripped away from you, then now you're going to thinking, okay, oh, now I'm going to be just like Daddy Buck. I'm going to be on the other side of town, and my kid's right here, but we're not together.
On May 28, 1997, while playing for the Cincinnati Reds, Deion says his depression turned suicidal. Deion's manager, Eugene Parker, was living in Indianapolis when he got a call from Deion in Cincinnati. Eugene got in his car and drove more than 100 miles to Deion's apartment. But when Eugene got there, instead of finding his friend, he says he discovered a suicide note.
I opened the envelope that was addressed to me, basically giving me his last wishes, how he wanted his funeral to go and where he wanted certain personal items to go.
Deion was heading north on a darkened Interstate 75 at the Ohio-Kentucky border. Deion pulled off the road, got out of his car, and thought about his final move. Then he stepped back inside, revved up his engine, and floored it, his Mercedes tumbling over an embankment.
I got to the bottom of that fall off and was still alive. And I'm like, Lord, you saved me. I'm still failing. I'm a failure at committing suicide. And that was something.
Coming up, Deion's moment of truth.
All of us have to go home once in a while and look in the mirror and say, man, do you like what you see? Are you happy with what you see?
In May of 1997, Deion tried to kill himself. But 4 days after rolling his car over an embankment, Deion says his prayers for deliverance were answered.
It was really, really, really bright. I mean, the lightest white that you could think of, and it was windy, and wind was just gusting through my room, and I can remember falling on my knees saying, Lord, if that's you, take me, take me. I felt like arms were just covering me, and the hands of God was just all around me.
Deion vowed to change his wild ways.
Then I went through a purging process, whereas everything that was not connected to the Lord, I asked him to shake my tree. And everything wasn't connected would soon fall off. Friends fell, family members fell, lifestyle fell, a lot of women fell.
One woman who stood tall was the new love in Deion's life, a model and actress named Pilar Biggers. Pilar shared Deion's faith in God and in his destiny.
It's like a triangle, so to speak. He and I are the two corners, the two opposite corners, and it's God that pulls us together right at the top. He's the glue to our relationship. He's our foundation.
This is my partner. This is my folk. This is my people. I'm talking Ebonics now. This is my loved one. This is my friend. He is also my wife.
On May 21st, 1999, Deion and Pilar were married in a small ceremony in the Bahamas by their mutual friend, Bishop Jakes. Since the wedding, Deion has forged a strong bond with his pastor.
It would be too late for Brother Deion to start now. He would come to Bible class, and little by little, he would make the transitions, maybe stopping by my office for a few moments after church, or dropping by the house.
He's grown and matured so much as a man. I mean, it's just, if you can only imagine watching a child grow.
During counseling with Bishop Jakes, Deion began to separate the character called Primetime from the character within himself.
And it came to a point in his life that Primetime was slowly killing Deion Sanders. And I think it was important to him to reconcile the difference between being a personality and being a person.
Deion, the man, wrestled with what every true megastar wrestles with, and that is balancing the two worlds. When the lights go out and you're at home, it's very difficult for those around you to relate to you outside of that which you have created for television.
You're dealing with an identity crisis. Deion has finally begun to separate from Primetime.
After a formal baptism at the hands of Bishop Jakes, Deion's faith grew stronger. He became eager to share the lessons of his experience with others. The pupil became the preacher.
Money was my drug. The more I made, the more I wanted. It was addiction.
I wanted to tell people the story because I know so many people go through what I've been through, or so many people want the things I had: power, money, and sex.
I thought all these things could fill my cup. But now, my cup runneth over.
His life is much fuller now. There's more to him than the feel.
While the Primetime character has been left behind, the Primetime legacy remains intact. In the summer of 2000, an older, wiser Deion Sanders was making news again. He signed a $56 million contract with the Washington Redskins, a deal that acknowledges Deion's ability to draw and excite a crowd. But this time around, Deion says he no longer believes his own press. He's learned where Primetime ends and his real life begins.
I'm a peaceful man. Look at me. I'm serious. I have a good time. It's ironic that when you're unsaved, you wouldn't even think or phantom the idea that you could have more fun on this side of the fence.
In February of 2000, Deion's wife, Pilar, gave birth to a son named Shiloh. With a new family and a new game plan, Deion Sanders says he's finally found the kind of peace in life that money can't buy.
All of us have to go home once in a while and look in the mirror and say, man, do you like what you see? Are you happy with what you see?
He stepped up to the plate as being a man, as being the man of our house, as being the head of our household.
He's in that daily fight that all Christians have to live life right. You didn't like him then, and you don't like him now. You just hated him in the first place.
I don't care about the money. I don't care about the many accolades that I've received. I want to be known as a God-fearing Christian father. That's it.